Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are on our home, our precious planet. Today, like every time we meet, we find the ground. We listen. We go inside and we breathe. Today really is not like every other day. This week has been a week of suffering, rage, sorrow, loss of hope, faith, love, for so many. So many. It's been such a challenge for the heart, such a challenge for the soul. And yet we practice. We practice a kind of inner standing, trying to understand, but an inner standing of rising up even when you feel bowed down. Bowing down when you feel you must bowing down, asking for help because we are human with all our human frailties. We are not all powerful. We are not all understanding. We are not all able to be who we want to be every day, every minute, every hour. But when we fall down, not to pray, but because we lose our strength, we lose our ground, we have our practice and we come back. And what we really come back to is our inner moral compass, we could call it, our North Star. And what is my North Star? But it is love. Love for this planet, love for the other, love for myself, love for all of nature, love for every breath, and for all the learning I can comprehend and all the learning I can enact. It's not a romantic love. That's very nice, but this is not that. To stand with another, to stand with ourselves, to stand for another, to stand for ourselves, to stand for an ideal, and to stand in our truth. We practice. So let's practice together. Practice breathing, going inside. The exhales really allow us to come in and be in. Well, let's take 4 breaths, really emphasizing the exhale and feeling the upright quality, the inner stance that it takes to remain standing when all else is in flux, in chaos. Even when we lie down or go to bed and pull the covers over our head, is there a spark? Is there something that remains standing? I think so. Let's begin to breathe together, emphasizing the exhale. Closing our eyes for a moment. And one. Down and in. Two. Down and in. Three. Down and in. Four. Down and in. Sense your atmosphere right now. See what can you uncover that is your inner stance. Because if you can embrace what is there, what is living in you at any given moment, that is your authentic self. And when we can embrace our authentic self, that is a kind of love. That is a kind of being true and good. And it is beautiful, no matter how ugly. It's a beautiful thing because you have said hello to it, because you're present with it, because it is part of standing true. An inner stance. We have a spine. It is there for us to keep us upright. We have the gifts, the many, many gifts that surround us and nourish us. Even in the darkest of times, there is warmth of air. There is the touch of another's hand. There's the thought of something larger caring for us in all of our distressing disguises. Where does love live in you? What kind of love? Love for the illness? Love for the pain? Love for your child? Love that this particular thing has changed? Sending love to help heal another? When I was a young woman, I was with my 5 best friends who was a senior in high school, and we were gathered to discuss what we wanted to do, what we wanted to be in the future. And one wanted to be a biochemist, and one wanted to be, I don't know, they had very, 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 very big plans. And most of them involved a job of some kind, a wonderful job. And out of my mouth, unbeknownst to me, came, I want to learn how to love myself. I want to learn how to love another. And I want to learn how to receive love. Maybe the hardest of all. And you know the old saying, out of the mouths of babes I have found that this is the hardest and most wonderful gift of all. I just want to leave us today with something that came in the Sunday paper from a man who talked about his city of a Minneapolis that many know was a very tough city right now and before, and how it taught him how to love. And his last words to us, he is still alive, but these last words I think will touch you too. George Floyd, in your final gasps for breath, we hear you. Ahmaud Arbery, as your footsteps pounded the ground, running for your life, we hear you. Victims of violence, poverty, and injustice, we hear you. Victims, communities and lives torn apart by riots, we hear you. People of privilege, learning a better way, we hear you. Mothers and fathers of every race doing their best that you can to teach your children to love and not to hate, we hear you. May God give us all ears to hear, and I will add, and hearts to embrace the cries of the unheard that are never again compelled to scream in desperation. May our hearts and minds, may our bodies, souls, and spirits be united with our trueness to stand with and for and in ourselves, so that we may be this seed of love that changes the world forever. Many blessings on your day.